Thank you.
Hi, again, my name is Joe Novosad with Blackburns, so thank you for letting me come in today and talk a little about Blackburns and also about home accessibility. And I'd like to leave some cards if anybody has any questions. I'll leave my cell number, you can call me direct. Okay? Let's look at this brochure here first. I'm not going to give you anything for the picture, but this is this is kind of a little thumbnail sketch of what we do with Blackburns. If you look on the back, a lot of these services are covered by insurance. Some are not, some are private pay, but you have a listing of some of the insurances we accept on the back. And then we have a list of our locations. Our corporate office is in Trentham, and that's where the company started, as I said, in 1936. If you look on the inside of this thing, we have everything from, things like portable beds. We have the custom seating and positioning, so whenever you get a wheelchair from us, one of our salespeople is called an ATP, Assistive Technology Specialist. He comes out and fits you for it, does a home assessment in your home, make sure everything's compatible. So the biggest part of our business is power wheelchairs and manual wheelchairs. We also have a lot of home medical equipment, walkers and canes and crutches. We do a lot of hospital beds, which are usually covered by insurance, bedside commodes, power lifts, and those kind of things. We started out as a pharmacy back in the day, and we still have the pharmacy open up there, and we do all free deliveries. We cover the whole tri-state area. I go down as far as West Virginia, out as far as Johnstown, up as far as Route 80, and when Erie comes down, then we go down into Uniontown, Washington, PA, and so forth. We have a showroom up in Trentham. If you ever want to come up to the showroom, take a walk around, see what we have up there on display. If we don't have it on display, we're usually able to get it for you. A big part of our business is respiratory, airway management, sleep therapy. We do sleep therapy, do a lot with CPAPs, home ventilators, and we have a full-time nurse on staff, and we do a lot with ostomy products, nutritional feedings, incontinence supplies, whether they be youth or adult briefs, undergarments. We do a lot with urological. Wound care is a big part of our business, and then prosthetics and so forth. And then support services. A lot of people need pressure relief on their mattresses, air loss, retention, and so forth, mattresses. So we have specialists who can help you in all those areas that you might need help on those things. So we're a full service clinical outlet. I think UPMC and Allegheny Health Network have tried to buy us a few times, but the owners want to stay independent. So we've stayed independent as a family owned by the Ruckus family and the Blackburns family. Any questions on this little brochure? Like I say, you can look through that. There's a couple of phone numbers on there, and I'll leave my number and cell number. If you have any interest, you could call me, and then I could connect you with the right department. Every one of these areas has their own manager and their own department, and they're all located up in Trentham. Does everybody here have heard of Blackburns? Who has not heard of Blackburns? Okay, that's not nothing. Sometimes I'll go down to West Virginia and they've heard of us, and sometimes I'll be in Natrona Heights in Trentham and they never heard of us, or they know a family member that knew us. Any questions on this little brochure? It's a little trifold. That's kind of an overview of what the company does. I'm going to give you an overview now of what I do specifically. I'm the one that goes out and does the evaluations and those kind of things. Okay. Hi.
Hi, sorry.
I'm going to have you sign the sheet here. There's some snacks up here and some water.
Okay. Well, I didn't mean to stop her.
I just need you to sign.
I will do that. You can keep going. Sorry.
three pass-outs that we have here. We're going to refer to these three pieces of paper. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, this one here, this is the, one. This one here is called Home Accessibility and Personal Safety Aids. It can be as simple as a grab bar, which is very important. A lot of times I recommend people just go to Lowe's or Home Depot and get a grab bar for them because it's so easy to get a grab bar to make sure you get your balance coming off the step. And even if you have a stair glide going up the steps, when people get up, it's easy to grab onto something. The foot plate is usually weight bearing and the armrests are weight bearing, but I still like to see some kind of a balance because as we get older, all of our balance kind of goes. And I try to work out to still a balance. I find myself not having the balance I had 20 years ago. Let me start out with this here. I'm going to start out with ramps, the first top ramp system. This is a 3-foot ramp. And basically that's only for the ADA, the American Disability Association, they say you should have 1 inch per foot. So when I go out and measure somebody's house, well, this is the height of this, if this is the porch up here, and there are 3 steps here, this is 36 inches high, I legally should build a 36-foot ramp to make the slope proper. If I try to put a 10-foot ramp here, it's going to be too steep. So we'll come out, we may have to come this way and back. We may have to go this way and over, but we try to be compliant with ADA. If you're privately paying for it, you can do whatever you want, but I never go less than 2 to 1. So if that's 36 inches, the shortest ramp I'll ever do would be 18 feet. And that depends again if you have a wheelchair, or using a rocker, or using a rollator, and how stable are you? Because if that's too steep, it's not going to do any good. So we adjust it for the patient. We don't just do it by whatever the rule frame is. That's a modular ramp. And there's a picture right there. They're 36 inches wide, not a very big picture, and they have handrails on the side. You probably see them when you're riding around. They're aluminum, and they have a non-slip surface on it. If you're not using a modular ramp, then we have portable ramps, as I was saying. And this here, this is a little ramp you can even throw in your car. It's lightweight. It's all aluminum. It has a handle on it. It's guaranteed for life. You can see how it's welded. But really, this ramp here is only for something. I'm going to use your footstool here. It's really for something about this high. It's not for as much. You can go a little higher, but as you can see, I can walk up that pretty easily. I can roll up that, or I can go with my wheelchair. As you get higher, then you get longer. They go as small as 2 feet, and then they go as long as 12 feet. Portable. Once you get over 12 feet, then we have to build something for you. So 2 feet to 12 feet are portable. The 12-footers are a little bit heavy, but at least they're portable. You can get them out of the way. You can roll. They come on wheels. You can roll them. The little ones I like because sometimes I was at a house yesterday. There was an ALS patient. She needed an 8-foot ramp off of her porch, but then she had 1 step down to the driveway. So I got her a 4-footer like this, and she was able to put it in her car too in case she has a doctor's appointment or something. So those are portable ramps. As you can see, they're non-slip, and you can anchor them down if you want. We'll give you a couple of bolts, or you can just make sure it overlaps like that. So we have portable ramps and modular ramps. This one here is for your threshold. Sometimes if you're with your walker or with a wheelchair or even with a cane, sometimes you have that 1-inch lip. They don't have them here, which is good. And this here butts up against there, and then you roll right over top of it. So this is called a threshold ramp. They make them in rubber. They also make them in aluminum. So this is pretty heavy. You can see the weight of that. So, and so you don't even have to anchor this down with anything. You could put 2-way tape on or just let it sit right at the threshold. It would sit, it'd be something like this right here. You go right over top of that. You we sell a lot of these for people, because they're used to, they have to take their walker and they have to jump it up over, you know. And that's a threshold. So, basically with ramps, we can just about look at anything, whatever your house needs. Portable, threshold, modular ramp. As I say, we build all different types. This morning I just worked on one for a fellow in New Ken. He coming off of his deck. It's 27 inches high, so he was going to come off 20 feet, put a turning station, and then go down 7 feet. And that'll give his wife easy access. So, all different kind of configurations. And the thing on the bottom here, these are the companies we use so that you don't get confused. We use Easy Access, Prairie View, and National Ramp. They're the manufacturers. We're just the installers. We don't make them. The second thing is probably our most popular item, and that's stair lifts. We do indoor, we do outdoor, and we do curve. So I go out at no charge for any of these things. We do free assessments, and we give you a price of what it would be like. And most people like the interior, but we also do them outside. They're weather protected, they're guaranteed, they have a cover on them, and they're treated so they don't rust. And there's also curves. So if you have a home with 2 sets of steps, you can do 2 things. You can either go up with one straight stair glide, get off, go across the little landing, sit on the other one, and go up the other way. That's a lot cheaper than if you go with a continuous curve. A continuous curve means you don't have to get off. They're custom made. Sometimes for young people that may have cerebral palsy, or they're pretty big and the caretaker has a hard time and they can't take any steps at all, they're forced to go with a curve. Otherwise, most people will go with 2 singles and they'll just transfer to the other one. Or you can use 1 single if you only have 2 or 3 steps. You can put a grab bar on the side like you would in your bathroom. And you can just hold on that rail and go right up. So it's less money, and this is easy. And sometimes the doctor wants you getting some exercise. So we use Bruno, we use Harmar, and we use Handicare. It's just like sitting in a chair. Does anybody have a stair glide at their home? Any of you? Are you familiar with them at all? Have you seen them? We're seeing more and more of them in churches and in public places because people need access to the upstairs, and it's pretty tough to walk sometimes. So we do a whole lot of these things. You can see here, this staircase here, that's a curve. This is outside. And then this one here has this little folding rail. Sometimes you might have in your house, you might have you come in the front door and your steps are right there, and there's a walkway. They make a folding rail so that whenever you come down, it goes down, and whenever you go up, it automatically comes up. You don't have to touch it. That way there's no trip hazard. So there's all kind of things out there today. It's just an idea going on, getting a price and seeing if something works for you. We used to have 2 of these on display at the Pittsburgh Mills, and I would invite people like this group, even to have this meeting up there, and you could ride on them and test them and get on and off and see how easy it is. But the way the Mills is going, we closed our showroom up at the end of 2024, and we're no longer up there. We had a set of steps up there. It was really convenient. All the things I'm going to talk about, we had on display there. So I would invite people up. I'd invite therapists up. I'd invite seniors up. I'd invite anybody up to test them. Okay, that's stair lifts. Overhead lifts, a lot of people need a Hoyer lift or some kind of lift to get them out of bed, into bed, on the toilet, off the toilet, children to a play area so they can sit down and play and then pick them up. So we make all these lift systems. Some of them are portable, some of them do suspension. They would be suspended, they would be pressured into not into the wall, but they would just be up against the wall, go across the top and pressure on the other ones so that they're not making any holes or any pressure sensitive. These ones here in the middle almost looks like a football goalpost. Those are portable. You can roll them over top the bed, or you can move them wherever you want to move them. We do a lot of this kind of work for the School for the Blind, and we do those permanently in the ceiling. We did a lot of work for the School for the Blind. We do some commercial work like that. So we do a lot of overhead lifts. You can see the motor here and this person being lifted up. There's different kind of slings. He makes slings that you can go to the potty on. He makes slings that are solid that just lift you on and off the bed. So we do a lot of overhead portable ceiling mounted lifts. The next thing on my list is vertical platform lifts. And That's mainly, it's an elevator, but it's mainly for people that have wheelchairs and they wanna get up on the porch. They can't use a stair glide because they gotta get the wheelchair down. And maybe they can't use a ramp for whatever reason, so this way they just drive onto that little box there and it lifts them up onto the porch. I think we can go as high as 14 feet. And then they just drive off, drive on, and drive off. It's called a vertical platform. All we do with that is we have to have one of our contractors pour a 5x5 slab, unless it's already on a solid part, and you go straight up and down. They look complicated, but it's pretty simple. Vertical platform. We do a lot of those here in Erie, mainly with people that have power wheelchairs. The next thing is a vehicle lift system. It's an exterior hitch mount. You may have seen some of these at the parking lot somewhere, but if you have a power chair or a power scooter or manual chair, what it does is it comes down, all the way down, you ride on it, it lifts you up, and away you go. And then when you're not using it, it folds up against the back of your vehicle. It does take up some room, and when you park, in order to get off, if you're going to Walmart, you need to give yourself enough room to get it off. But it does lift up. It's all battery operated, or we could hardwire it in, but usually we get battery for it. Insurance in some cases will pay for all of these. That last one I talked about, they're the least likely to pay for that. They would rather you get a long ramp and push the chair up into the back of your HUV or whatever you have. But we do sell some of those. Again, that's a vehicle with exterior. All you need to do is get a hitch on your vehicle. We recommend which hitches. People usually go to U-Haul. They get a hitch put on, we come out, we install it, and away you go. They're not cheap. I mean, they're probably around, depending on which one you get and what kind of vehicle you have, they're probably about $3,500. So if insurance pays for them, makes it nice. Depending on the weight of your chair and the type of car you have, they're not compatible with everything. If you have a little vehicle and you're a big wheelchair, it's not going to work. So it has to be compatible. So I always check the tongue weight and make sure it's not going to hurt a particular car. You can put them on a sedan, but typically it's an SUV or some kind of bigger vehicle. So that's pretty much the things that we cover from my personal area of home accessibility. And on the back here, it just tells you what we have two or three, sometimes three people in the field. I go out and do the assessment, but they do the installation. Matter of fact, they're all in a training school right now from Bruno. But if you look online, these are the companies that we use, and they're all highly rated companies. And then these are the certifications we get. Our people have to all be certified. They have to have all their aging in place specialists. They have to have their environmental access consulting, and they have to have a technician's number in order to do all these things. And again, I was telling Jackie, we work real close with UPMC, PA Health and Wellness, AmeriHealth, and any kind of Medicaid programs. A lot of the Medicare programs will not cover some of these things. And then there's funding sources out there too. The ALS will fund part of this. Sometimes the American National Association will fund some of it. And then the areas on aging, Allegheny County Area on Aging, Westmoreland Area on Aging, Life Pittsburgh. There are funding sources out there. And I have a couple sources that I use for people. One is the Pennsylvania Assistive Technology Foundation. They have lots of money, and they'll give it to you. You have to go through paperwork there. They'll give you a no-interest loan or low-interest loan, $40 or $50 a month forever. And if somebody passes away, they usually forgive the loan. So there's ways to get these equipment if you need it. We can try to help you find the equipment. Any questions on anything on home accessibility? We call it home accessibility with AdNet. Questions? Well, you guys are making it easier.
Well, not to take away from Blackburns or any DME company, but I mean, there is a whole secondary market out there too. But you have to be careful.
Yeah.
You have to be smart. But there is a whole, I mean, I don't want to take away from you, but for people who are struggling, to finance some of this.
If your insurance isn't covering some of these things, I would be very careful on the stair glides. But the ramps, I can tell you now, going online, you can buy some used ramps or almost new ramps as cheaply as I pay for them.
Right,
So I tell a lot of people, and sometimes I have used ones, and I'll sell it cheaper. But if you can go online and find it, fine. The only thing is, when you get it, you have it. So hopefully, this is guaranteed for life. Hopefully, the hinges and everything on that are fine. But I agree with you. There's a lot with online now.
Amazon and MacBid and all
There's
this
a lot of
stuff.
stuff out there. If you're going to buy a stair glide, though, let me caution you on this.
I'm not talking that, I'm talking,
But if you do buy a stair glide, you need to know if it's right or left hand specific, how many steps, and then if they took it out already, you never know what you're getting. So you're going to buy a stair glide, it's best to go look at a used one while it's in. Maybe have somebody you trust take it out, put in. We do so. We'll take it out, put in. I don't carry used ones anymore. I used to carry used ones, and refurbished ones would sell them at a cheaper price, but we just don't have the room to do that. But there are other companies out there that will sell you a used one. I tell you this, try to get a 90-day guarantee on it. Most of the stair glides that we sell, new Bruno and Hornmore, they're guaranteed for life. That's a good point. Ramps, secondary market. Overhead lifts, secondary market. Vertical platform lifts, I wouldn't be afraid of it. Vehicle lifts, yes, you might find some amusement. Somebody doesn't need it anymore, as long as it's compatible with your vehicle, it doesn't pull it down or anything like that. Okay? And some of the things that, we're talking about the secondary market, some of the things that we had to go into competitive bidding, some things we can't even do anymore. You can, Medicare has them, or you can go to Walmart's or Walgreens, and you can buy some of these things because we can't even carry them.
So, and if you don't know how to do it, just ask any 12-year-old and they'll know how to go online and figure this all out for you.
And if you even call me, or call us, I can steer you to some of those other outlets. Because there's many times our bigger concern from my department is not how much we can sell, it's how we can help people. Because as I said, what I do at this page, very small part of Blackburns. We're only 15 years old, my group. Blackburns is 90 years old. And they're mainly clinical. As I was telling Jackie, we're kind of retail, they're clinical. So we're a small part of the business. And like I said, I'll be in a person's home sometimes and I'll recommend they get it somewhere else or they go through some kind of financing. Because this stuff's not cheap. Just want to make sure you get quality and safe. And usually we get, the way we get referrals, it'll be through a therapist, it'll be the doctor's recommendation. We usually need a doctor's script, a letter of medical necessity, and then the chart notes from your notes. And it could come from a doctor, it can come from a therapist, it can come from a family friend, it can come from a church. And we don't have a whole lot of repeat business because the stuff we put in lasts forever. The only repeat business we have at that same house, they may add a ramp to what they already got. So we have one shot at doing it right. So that's home accessibility. We talked a little bit about, I already talked about this one, I mean, we covered this. This is what, that's all Blackburn services in there. Most of them are clinical in nature, and there's a list of the insurances and locations that we are on the back. I'm going to talk about this Velveeta bath lift for a minute. There are other bath lifts out there. This is, for the most part, covered by insurance. We've installed quite a few of these. What it is it's, as you can see, it weighs about 20 pounds. It's portable, you can take it with you. You put it in a tub, some people use it in a hot tub. And what it does, it has a battery, a remote control. You can drop it in the water, it won't get damaged. It goes down to 2 inches, so it'll take you down to about 2 inches depending on how your tub's shaped. And a lot of people use it for soaking or for bathing. Then when you come up, it'll bring you up 18 inches high. It doesn't take you off of it, so what you have to do is, you have to either put your legs over the tub or stand up and step over the tub. It does take you up and down there. And they make a little disc where you can, almost like a transfer board, you can slide to the side and transfer off that way. we take them out and actually demo them. We'll take one out and we'll put it in the tub and put the person, like if I had one here, you could sit on it and see what it's like. The weight capacity is 300 pounds. You can see how it works. There's a charger for the battery, so you have to use it 4 or 5 times, you charge the battery up. It's not for everybody. Some people have a hard time with it. Some people's tubs are not right for it, but it works out pretty good for people who want to take a bath. So it gives you all the dimensions on there. It shows her soaking in the tub here, and here she's up in a full upright position. This is what it looks like when it's assembled. It comes in 2 pieces, but she's carrying right there. That's got a 5-year warranty on it. 300 pounds capacity, white color. Seat height adjusts to 2.6 to 18.9. No plumbing, nothing has to be plugged in. There's suction cups on the bottom of it, and it sticks to the bottom of your tub. The other thing I have here, and I didn't give you a copy of this, we do home assessments at no charge. And we started out doing them for Allegheny Health Network. Now they have their own people. And UPMC, they would call and say, could you go out to Naomi's house? Her children, she's in a home, or her children want to make an assessment. They want to know if the house is safe for her to come home or for her to stay there. So I go out and I check ramps and slopes, bedrooms, hallways and doors, parking and loading zones, and bathrooms. What we do is we check and make sure it's safe. How high is everything? How are you able, when you get up in the morning, are you able to get in and out of bed? Are you able to get to the bathroom safely? Is everything in the bathroom acceptable? Is your toilet seat high enough or are you having a hard time? How do you get downstairs if you're upstairs? When you eat breakfast, what do you do at that point in time? So we do a full assessment and write something up. I've done it for attorneys also. Some attorneys they want their clients to check. And I write it up, make a recommendation, then it's up to them what they want to do. No obligation. They can either get some things from us, they can go independently and buy them, or they can do nothing. But sometimes it's simple as having too many throw rugs on the floor and a trip hazard. These floors are perfect. Sometimes it's an archway, sometimes it needs a couple of threshold ramps, sometimes it's lighting. Things that we take for granted, the things that we say, oh, I'm not going to fool with it, they could cause a fall, they can cause an accident. So again, we do home assessments, all come out, there's no charge, and then you go from there. Questions?
You have 24-hour, it looked like 24-hour on-call. So it says 24/7. So I deal with another company. And we had, it actually was over Thanksgiving. And we had an air mattress failure on the electric hospital bed, and they don't have 24-hour coverage.
Do they have an answering service?
No, but I am very persistent.
Good.
And so, but anyway, if something like that happened over a holiday or a weekend or something like that, you have on-call staff for a particular, I'm just saying, for something in general, not for my situation, I'm just saying.
If someone calls at 2 o'clock in the morning, Blackburns, not for home accessibility, but for the other things you're mentioning, they'll probably, they would receive the call on the call service, but nothing would be addressed till the morning.
Right, but it would, if it was a Saturday, it could still be addressed.
Yes.
Or a holiday, if it was Thanksgiving, there's an on-call staff.
There's someone there on.
You don't have to wait 2 days for your air mattress, for your person.
Let's say this, Naomi, I would say it has happened, but typically, if it's for home accessibility, when we're in there at 7 or 8 o'clock the next morning, we get the message, and it's a question of how quickly we can respond. If we have 2 servicemen out that day booked, we might not get there until 3 o'clock or the following day. With Blackburns, with that air mattress type of thing, hopefully they can respond in 24 hours.
Yeah.
I would say yes. I can't say it happens all the time because of the holiday situation.
Yeah,
there may be a delay.
Yeah.
So they take.
But there is it's a whole story. But anyway, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think we get too many complaints in that area. Some of the things, like I said, though, we don't do. Medicare has to do, but If it was our product, we'd probably, we'd follow it.
Oh, right, I get it, I'm just asking in general.
Okay, any questions on, the evaluation, the, home accessibility, or the Blackburns brochure? Any questions on this Blackburns brochure? Again, mostly 99% clinical services, no obligation, a nurse on staff. If there's any questions, anybody can answer for you. It can be totally unrelated to equipment, it could be totally related to some other area. Feel free to call and ask for our nurse's Ralph, and he'll get back to you for sure. My mother passed away a few months ago, but before she passed away, I had him come over to our house, and he just kind of verified some of the things that the therapists were doing, and made sure that she was doing things the right way and what she could do to be comfortable. So he's accessible. Trying to see if there's anything else on here. And the pharmacy, I think we go, like I say, I'm probably to Johnstown, up to Route 80, out to West Virginia, down to Washington, PA, and all those delivered with no charge for any deliveries or any service. That's another possibility. That's getting tougher and tougher, the pharmacy with price of drugs, and maybe that's being controlled. I don't think I have anything else. I have some cards up here. If you'd like to get a card, I'd be glad to leave the card for you. And that number is the 800 number to the office. I'll put my cell number on there, so you can call me direct. I'm in the office about 2 days a week, but I always respond to my cell phone.
So your specialty is,
Home accessibility.
Home accessibility, okay.
I mean, I get involved with the rehab too, but as I told them earlier, the biggest portion of Blackburns business is wheelchairs. If you ever came there, and if you're welcome, I'll take you on a tour, you'd be amazed. Our warehouse is the old A&P building, years and years ago in Trenton. And that upstairs floor is full of power wheelchairs that are being delivered. So whenever they sell a power wheelchair, there's always a high probability that they'll need a ramp. I was demonstrating a couple of these small ramps also. This is a threshold ramp, this is a 3-foot ramp, but a lot of times you need to get in, so we piggyback with rehab and do a lot of work with rehab. That's our biggest part of our business. The second biggest part of our business would be the clinical things. The ostomy, the wound care. A lot of the nursing homes in the area, we supply them with everything from briefs to nutritional feedings and so forth. Then you get down to what I do, and I'm in the home. I'm dealing with individuals. I don't really deal with groups. Unless it's a group home, like Evergreen Homes and Presbyterian, sometimes we build ramps. Those long ramps I showed you, we'll build a 20 or 30 foot ramp for access to get in. So that's kind of what we do that. So it's kind of multi-folded, multi-applications. We've decided to stay independent, and we've kind of grown, and we've resisted purchases by UPMC and Allegheny Health Network, and we do a lot of work now with UPMC actually, and some of Allegheny. I think our guys, my team for home accessibility, I think they're the best, because we don't get many callbacks. Once we do it, it's done, and most of the stuff we do is lifetime warranty. So that's my pitch. Any other questions about Blackburns or home accessibility?
Do you take back used power wheelchairs?
Not typically.
Okay.
There's a place in Freeport called Rachel's. I'm trying to think of the last name, Rachel, and she takes in a lot of that equipment. And I just took some stuff the other day to St. Vincent de Paul. Paul, I had some walkers for my mom, I had a potty chair, I had a transfer chair, and I took them off there, and they took it, they help out people. And there's a couple of places, like I say, that they'll give them to, they'll take them and they'll use them for hardship cases and things like that. We can't, we took everything back, it'd be unbelievable. So I would say no.
Who has the used power wheelchairs? Who did you say had used power wheelchairs?
No, it was a transfer chair.
Oh,
My
okay.
mother had a transfer chair, she passed
Oh,
away.
okay, I thought you said somebody,
No.
to his question,
But
took
then you
them.
can sell those, I mean, you can, like you say, you go online, people, I always run into people that buy a scooter, 3 or 4 wheel scooter, used, even a power chair, I mean, as long as you get you might just need new batteries, you can charge them up too. But returning them, like I said, he asked about returning a chair, and I mentioned there's a place in Freeport called, Rachel's Cabinet, Rachel's something, and she takes stuff in, and she uses it for hardship case. You could look it up, I think it's called Rachel's something.
Not power chairs, but the blessing board on the bottom of Route 8 takes equipment and then moves it on to like walkers, not commode chairs, but tub chairs, walkers, and moves it over to Global Links.
Okay, I've heard of that, the blessing board, that's good.
And that's right in the, Pittsburgh, in the
Is
old
it right on
Kmart,
Eighth?
it's in the old Kmart plaza at the bottom of Route 8 where Ollie's and Planet Fitness and Aldi's are now.
They won't take power,
No,
Okay.
power chairs are tough.
okay.
Because they send their stuff to Global Links, and Global Links sends it overseas, and so you're dealing with stuff like battery, and all that kind of stuff. But if you have a manual wheelchair and stuff
I mean, a
like that,
manual wheelchair,
they're gold.
in a lot of cases,
People are
think
using sticks,
it's
and so if you have a pair of crutches, it's like a game changer.
I see a lot of people, I go to a lot of homes and they have a power wheelchair, and guess what? They can't use it, because they don't have enough room, or they're afraid of the joystick. You get a good manual chair, you can, if it's level, you can lower it yourself, and if not, if somebody's caretaker, you can go just about anywhere with it. So, and if they're going overseas, I could see, what was the name of the group again?
Blessing Board, but they take it in, the Blessing Board, it's the bottom of Route 8, and then they have a arrangement with Global Links. Global Links is in Green Tree.
I heard of them, Blessing Board, I can't remember some of these things, but I know that there was Rachel's, Blessing Board, and there was one other place that will take used equipment, but you're right, they may not take power equipment.
And and commode chairs become a fee too.
I had accumulated probably, between my mother and my aunt, probably 6 walkers, and probably 2 potty chairs, a transfer chair, a couple other pieces of DME, and we took it all up to, my buddy, we filled the truck up last week, and we took it all up to St. Vincent de Paul.
My sister recently took my mother to Florida, and they rented a little place that was handicap accessory, but they still needed a couple of things, so my sister-in-law who lives down there went to St. Vincent and got the things that they needed, cleaned them all off, took them and used them for the week my mother was there, and then cleaned them again, returned them back to where she bought them.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
And that's what I told Sharon up there, I said, I have her card, I said, can I refer people to you, because I never thought of referring people up there. And so at St. Vincent de Paul is a great outlet, and they have a beautiful space up in Apollo, and they clean it up, and they'll let it, like you said, you can use it for a week or 2, and then give it back, and some of that stuff is perfect. So that would be another source.
Yeah, and our local St. Vincent de Paul, my sister-in-law's brother runs it and his wife, so when the items come in that are really nice, if my mother needs something, they'll just send that up to her.
What they had, speaking of your point, when I went in there, I saw a couple of big, they must have been 6, maybe 8 feet high, 8 feet wide. It was bound together, and I said, what's that? Those were clothes packed in together. They were shipping them overseas.
Right.
But they had them in big bundles. So they probably put them in a cargo ship. So there's outlets for stuff, and it's good that those places there, because again, you don't have to pay for it. You can use it for a rental. You can use it to do it back. Make a donation if you like.
And what you said about the manual wheelchair, I fractured my femur a couple years ago when I was in rehab. I had my choice. Insurance would pay for one item, and it could be a walker or a wheelchair. So I picked the wheelchair. So now I have my wheelchair.
Right.
I just referred a patient to one of my friends at UPMC. She's a coordinator. She gave me a name, and the same thing. They said she could have a power chair or a manual chair, the insurance, but she needs a power chair. Plus the difference is probably $8,000 or $10,000 versus a couple hundred. So she'll take that, and she can always buy a used manual chair, you can buy it online or something. I don't have anything else today. Any more questions? Well, help yourself, there's some more snacks and some waters. Thank you for your time, I appreciate it. If there's anything, I have cards up here, and I'll write my cell phone number on there if you like. If you have any questions I can do to help, let me know. All right.
Thank you.
And you're welcome. Have a great weekend.
Oh, sure.
So this question may be out of your realm then. So I'm dealing with another equipment company, which I'm very, 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 very dissatisfied with. And I know we're past the 13 months, so this is probably, like you said, this may not be in your area. We're past the 13-month rental, so we're in the,
And she's coming
yeah,
down
owner
here.
kind of thing. And what I'm trying to figure out, and.
No, it's just that,
He wants to
Am I-
get it
I want
signed.
to her autograph.
Okay.
We'll go out there and see if she's
It's
there.
like a 5-year, I guess, Medicare paper repair.
I'll autograph it.
Am I stuck for 5 years with it? Like when I'm married, I'm
Okay,
married 5
Barb.
years. And ship.
I would say to your insurance company, soft service coordinator, that who?
I don't even know what she looks like. You know what she looks like? Barb.
Service department, is what people are
Yes.
servicing. and
She does.
Yeah.
I would say you're A, not happy with the
Okay.
service, or you're not happy with,
What
if
do
they
you
don't
have
have
put?
any more.
Oh,
and
it's
if
like
you
the
could get a
chicken
quote from another
and
company, or
lettuce
have
and
somebody
tomatoes
else.
and cucumbers and.
Okay. Well,
You don't want to use it for-
It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
We have a full service center that works on nothing but wheelchairs, equipment, and we do our own, we put our own beds. I can't answer your question directly, if you can just come out.
Right.
Why do you displeased with them? They were so going, coming out of that?
Yeah, well, I told you about the 24,
Yeah, they're called.
yeah, there was nobody, well, you know, we don't have weekend service, we don't have this or that. Okay, well, there's one thing if you have a problem with the leg rest, it's another thing if your bed fails and you've got somebody who's an aspiration risk who has to have a tilted head and all this other stuff. And the current thing is I submitted photos and videos of things, we have a tilt and space wheelchair of what is wrong and needs repaired in November. We're finally getting it, they're coming out the end of April. That's 5 months, that's half a year with broken wheelchair.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, I'm getting through this repair,
Sorry.
which is totally